Nama Om Vishnu Badaya Krishna Vashtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Kauravani Vachaline Nivasesha Shunyavadi Pashtatar Sataline Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. And also another reflection that's coming to mind now about Rath Yatra. I mean, if there's Harinam, people can conveniently turn away or conveniently not give it much attention or conveniently ignore it, even though they can see it. But they can't with Rath Yatra.
They can't.
It's like they're stunned.
And
They're
Jagannath
stunned.
is there. Jagannath is there, you know.
Yeah.
Cannot miss.
They just have to look and they have to be mesmerized. Like on the cart, because the cart's about, it comes up at the first, we got the ground floor, then you got the first floor where all the they got their first floor restaurants and things like that. So you can see everyone in a restaurant has one thing in common. They all stop what they're doing and all looking at this amazing display. I was looking at that. There was a few Hindu ladies who obviously didn't know it was Rath Yatra, and they were in this fancy restaurant. Obviously, they was quite well to do. It's a very fancy restaurant. They was just in ecstasy, you know, seeing this. This was just Balaram's cart was the first one coming past, and they're just like practically in ecstasy. And everyone in the restaurant, they all stopped, all looking out the window. Yeah, and they're all seeing Lord Balaram. They're all getting darshan of Balaram, Subhadra, and Jagannath. So much mercy went out on the Sunday to central London. God.
And weather was perfect. Not too hot, not too cold,
Yeah.
not raining, cloudy, just right.
Yeah. If it had been no clouds, it would have been too much. There'd have been a lot of burnt devotees.
Especially, I assume on the cart it'll be super warm because it's all covered. And then there's this little space, so all the heat is trapped inside there, isn't it?
Well, it's not that. It's that and there you can stand in some shade. That's fine. You can stand behind, but we have to serve the Lord. We have to take donations right in the sun. We have to be there to take donations, and that's quite a nice experience as well. We get hundreds of people asking for, you know, as soon as Balaram's, you know, we're getting off the track here, but as soon as Balaram's cart is there, then we had this, you know, we had this donation box, which is about 8 inches by 4 inches that we got given. You know, the cart stopped. In 10 minutes, it was full.
Wow.
10 minutes full. We had to, no more notes would fit in. First 10 minutes, people will actually, they're so, you know, they're so devotional that they have to give a donation as soon as the cart stops. And even the security, we always have these wrestle with the security. You know, everyone's surging towards the cart to give donations, and the security is trying to keep them back. But at the end, they give up. Everyone comes and all putting their hands up. Put their hands, give me £20, £50, £5. Can't take it quick enough. Isn't it, Baba Chandra? She was on the cart as well. And the donations that come in the beginning as well. I was just throning behind me. So fast.
And I was wrestling with the guardians, with the guards.
Yeah, Mother Mongo was helping to be the medium because the security pushed them back. Then Mother Mongo was taking their donations and handing them up.
Say, go away from here, go away from here. I say, I'm not going anywhere. Sorry. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going away from here. You want to get hurt? I say, don't worry, we'll not get hurt. Go away.
Yeah, the security always, there's one particularly devotee. He does security at temple. He looks so stressed out. So stressed out and trying to keep all these people back. I'm just on the cart, I'm laughing like I'm smiling the whole thing, you know. So you can't keep them back. It's pointless. But it gets dangerous sometimes. We do have to be careful because people can get crushed. So that's why sometimes, for instance, sometimes I have to stop and wait for things to calm down. Otherwise, people get crushed.
But that happens in Puri, isn't it? People do get crushed in Puri.
Yeah, there can be fatalities, not just in Puri, in religious festivals. It's not unknown. Even it happened recently, some Muslim event, wasn't it? Many people got killed.
Or when they go to Mecca, I think.
Yeah, recently. So, and before we used to, I'm glad it's changed. We used to hand the maha off from the down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like, I'm surprised anyone didn't get killed there.
Yeah.
Especially when you start throwing the mangoes, people go crazy for mangoes. God. Yeah, and also the prasad used to fall on the floor. It was but now it's much better. We take it down on the table and people queue up.
Mm.
Anyway, I'm going off on a Rath Yatra thing here.
But the crowds weren't so big before. This year was the biggest.
Yeah.
No, the biggest.
I remember.
Place to sit on the floor. Usually, you know, the stairs or down somewhere you could sit after you have prasadam. There was practically no place to sit down anywhere.
Yeah.
While this
One
guy-
year, what we did, there's one year what they did is, I wasn't on the cart then, but there was Jagannath and Baladeva on one cart then, and the cart was in front of the column, Nelson's column, and everyone could come up to the actual cart and pay obeisances in front of Jagannath, Baladeva, Subhadra, and they come up one steps and go down the other steps.
Yeah, we used to have that before. Yeah.
Yeah, that took the queue took about 3 hours to actually get up there and pay obeisances and come down again. That
We
wouldn't
used
work.
to do that in Battersea Park.
Yeah, this we did on Trafalgar. Remember? Yeah, that's why they carried it into Trafalgar when we first went there. I think when we first went back to Trafalgar, they did that, but it didn't work. Not everyone could get darshan.
I think the square is too small because everyone's just crammed in. I mean, seriously, it's sardines, and
Yeah.
I think they should like go from Trafalgar Square to Hyde Park and have it in Hyde Park.
Yeah. It was
That's
too
an
small.
idea.
When none of us could sit down or, you know, handle it.
Yeah,
You know,
it's extremely uncomfortable because you're shuffling around. It's like you can't go anywhere because it's too crowded. But I mean, that's the fun of it as well. But it would be nice to have grass and sit down and relax and
Yeah.
Maybe go back to Battersea Park.
yeah.
Yeah, the one in Valentine's Park as well, the East London Rath Yatra, that ends in Valentine's Park. And it's pretty much like what you say, Lavanga. Everybody sits in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a nice place.
the interesting
That's
idea.
a huge park,
Yeah, massive one.
massive one. But you don't want to go to East London, sorry.
Last year I was at Los Angeles, so they had it at the Venice beach, and they had like really grassy area. Everyone was sitting on the beach under the umbrellas. It was so beautiful, so very but like you say, not kind of beautiful like
Trafalgar Square has its nostalgia aspect for us because that's where Prabhupada was.
That's
It's
And it's also a monumental historic place. It's like it's saying so much.
It attracts a lot of
Tourists.
public attention and so preaching. So
yeah, it does. It does. It's very it's in the Bhagavatam, you know, Jagannath's cart rivals Nelson's pillar. It's I know. It would just be nice to have like more space.
That's the problem with all our temples. So many devotees. Lord Chaitanya's fault. All right, let's get into Bhagavad Gita, right? So that's what I said.
Before you get into Bhagavad Gita, just one quickly. To all the devotees. If I can't get through, I send the link out every day. But please, if I can't send the link, it's the same link every day, Monday to Thursday, 6 to 7.
Yeah, same
Please
link.
join, same link. Please join. I came late yesterday, then the internet wasn't working. I had to wait for my brother to come. All sorts of things anyway. So I just couldn't get through to anybody. Sorry.
Yeah,
But
it's
the
the same
class
link.
goes on. The classes go on, even if I'm not around. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. Krishna.
I was thinking,
Go on.
I was thinking it is a holiday after Rath Yatra.
No holidays from Krishna conscious of any way was taught. Unless it's an auspicious day that we are all at the temple.
Exactly, yeah. Very true.
Yeah, I think devotees were recovering a bit because yesterday's reading and didn't happen. There was only a couple of devotees came.
Yeah, I signed on about 6:05 and I couldn't. It was just going round and round, so I thought, oh, maybe something's happened.
Yeah. Anyway, no problem. I was a bit tired.
Anyway, I just thought that if I do forget, because I do forget to send a link out sometimes and I send it at the last minute, but just, it's class
It's the old
6
link,
to
yeah.
7 every day.
And if you're a bit if you're a bit, what's it called? If you're a bit good on computers, the link you can get, you can put it straight on your calendar. So it comes up on your calendar, and then it come up on your calendar, and you can get in straight from your calendar. It comes up. If you look on the invitation, it gives you that option.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. We set the prayers to Prabhupada?
Yes.
We said? Okay, so let's begin then. Back into the universal form, chapter 11, and we'll pick it up from text 38. I think we read 38, but there's no harm in doing it again. Let's just do that again and go onwards, okay? So again, we're asking devotees each to read one verse and one translation in purple. So good reading opportunity. So go ahead, Mother Sadam Radhika.
The meter, Prabhu? Tvamadi Deva.
Yeah, Tvamadi Deva Purusha Paranastamasya Vishvasya Param Nidanam Vitassi Vejam Cha Param Cha Dhamma Tvayitatam Vishvamanantarupa. That's 1 meter. You can do that.
Tvamedi Adi Deva Purusha Puranas Tvamasya Vishvasya Param Nidhanam Vedesi Vedyam Cha Paramam Cha Dhama Tvaya Tatam Vishvamanantarupa. Translation. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. Purport. Everything is resting on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, He is the ultimate rest. Nidhanam means everything. Even the Brahman effulgence rests on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He is the knower of everything that is happening in this world. He is the knower of everything that is happening in this world. And if knowledge has any end, He is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, He is the known and the knowable. He is the object of knowledge because He is all-pervading. Because He is the cause in the spiritual world, He is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendental world.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya.
Okay. So this, I remember reading this before. Any questions, comments here?
Very sweet.
Yes. You can't, in one sense, this is a complete description of the personality of Godhead. Yeah. He's the oldest, although he's the youngest as well. He's the oldest. Ultimately, I mean, we're reading this, and it's wonderful to try and contemplate that which we cannot understand completely. But this is Arjuna's ecstatic realization on seeing the universal form. Yeah. And this word is nidanam, is used a few times in Gita. Yeah. Let me just quickly nidanam, refuge. Yes. So he's the ultimate refuge. There's something I have once. Look at this word nidanam. So it's the ultimate rest, the ultimate refuge and rest. So I have a Sanskrit dictionary here, and I've been using it lately. It's called ChatGPT. You might try it. I mean, I've got a big, thick Sanskrit dictionary. It's a big book, Monier Williams Sanskrit Dictionary. It takes me half an hour to try and find a word. But this, you type it in, nidanam. I'm just putting it in now, and I press OK. Sometimes it thinks for a couple of seconds. Okay, the term nidanam derived from Sanskrit and holds various meanings depending on the context in which it is used. Here are the primary interpretations: death or end. In many contexts, nidanam refers to the end of life, death or demise. It signifies the final stage of existence for a living being. Destruction or extinction. It can also imply destruction, annihilation, or the complete termination of something. Treasure or wealth, like the abode or resting place. It can denote a place of rest, a final dwelling, or an abode where something resides or is stored. Yeah. So everything, us included, I mean, our ultimate rest will be at Krishna's lotus feet.
Yeah,
that will be our ultimate rest after our sojourn in this material world. Even in our daily life, isn't it? When we're going about the things we have to do in this world, sometimes it's good to get back to one's own place, and rest. to rest, But ultimately that rest is temporary, and we have to wake up the next day or go about our duties the next day. So in one sense, our sojourn in this material world, again and again, being born and dying again and again and again.
The thought of it.
Yeah, the ultimate rest, not just for us, but for the whole cosmic manifestation, is within Krishna. It mentioned he is everything rests upon him. Nidanam. He's the ultimate rest. And sometimes devotees speak like that, and they have this word, I'm going to take some rest. They don't say I'm going to go and sleep. They say I'm going to take some rest. That's how Brahma speak in the ashram. I'm going to go and take some rest. Yeah. But the ultimate rest for all of us is Krishna, and for everything. So this is what Arjuna is seeing here. He pervades everything. He's the ultimate rest. Nidanam. Yes. So, and it goes more. Scriptural context, epic narratives, philosophical texts, etc. So it means death, it means end, it means destruction, or wealth or treasure. Nidanam. Yeah.
Prabhu, talking about rest, it does it does Vishnu rest in Chaturmas, which is that the time he rests?
I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable on Chaturmasya. I don't know much about it. At the moment, it's Chaturmasya, isn't it? Fasting from leafy green vegetables. Is that right?
For 4 months he's on rest, so you should not eat leafy food. Yes, and dal, chana dal.
Yeah, so it's there, but for your interest, Prabhupada never spoke of it. Prabhupada never followed it. Prabhupada never gave a specific instruction for devotees to follow, as far as I know. As far as I know. So that's why you find most Prabhupada disciples won't really speak about it much. Some, I think Jayapataka Maharaj, he's into these type of things. So, but it can help by doing these things. It can help.
Yes.
It helps to control the senses, and it's good. But so yes, so Madhu Mongol, you are confirming that that's what it says in scripture.
Yes, I was reading. Actually, this last Ekadashi, it says about it when the Lord takes rest for 4 months. So you should not cut your nails. You should not shave. You should not.
Brush your teeth.
You should eat only with your mouth. You should not use your hands.
Rest, total rest.
Anyway, we can see that perhaps that's not practical for us,
No.
and that's why Prabhupada didn't ask that of us. So Gaudiya Vaishnavas, I don't know, I don't think they strictly follow that.
In the last month of the Chaturmasya, you should drink only 1 cup of milk.
Yeah, I don't know where you're reading from, but yes. Okay, so we're not going to do that. Okay.
No, I think that like following, I know devotees who do follow Chaturmas about eating and
Okay,
things
good.
like that, you know, which to me, I think Prabhupada did say it. Beginning,
He did,
he
yeah?
sort of doesn't have so much time as well, and he wanted to get. And I think that if you do certain things for your purification, it's good for your sense control, things like that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But ultimately, Mahamantra is the one that's going to help you get back.
Yeah, very good point. That's nicely put, Mother Chandravali. So yeah, for our own personal purification in the ways of sense control, it's good to put some restrictions on the tongue. You know, it's very good. Fasting is very good.
Especially like, say, Ekadashi, you know, the better you can control your senses, your, you know, eating less, thinking, just concentrate on your spiritual hearing, chanting, then it's better for you and you'll make progress.
Yeah. So those who want to follow at the moment is green leafy vegetables. Okay. Is that right? So no rocket salad. If anyone's into rocket salad.
No spinach.
No spinach. All right. Let's yeah, we could mention a lot in this purport. There's a lot there. Here's to know everything that is happening in the world. All right, let's go on to text 39, shall we? Someone could read this.
Shall I read this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Text 39. Is it the same meter?
Yeah. Vayo yamo agni varuna shangshaka.
Vayu yamoni varuna sasanka prajapatisthvam pratipamanascha namo namaste stutasasra kritva punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. Purport. The Lord is addressed here as air, because the air is the most important representation of all the demigods. Being all persuasive, Arjuna also addresses Krishna as the great grandfather, because he is the father of Brahma, the first living creature in the universe.
Yeah, Pitamaha. Pitamaha. Yeah, he's the mother, he's the father. That's mentioned in I think it's chapter 7, or perhaps it's chapter 9, where Krishna is described as that Pitamaha. He's the grandfather. Yep. Okay. Any questions or comments here?
Is it all?
Yeah. This is not so unsurprising to read. I think everything is actually Krishna. In a sense, everything is a manifestation of his energies. So it's quite so God realization is quite overwhelming when one actually realizes the potencies of the Lord. So sometimes you may get, okay, we may not get glimpses of the universal form, but sometimes we can get glimpses of his omnipotent presence and appreciation. Yeah, that's the whole 10th chapter is about that. Yeah, the opulence of the absolute. Yeah, Yasuham Apsakuntaya, that comes in the 7th chapter as well. Yeah. So yeah, you are air. So you are the supreme controller. You are fire. You are water. You are the moon. You are Brahma. This is like ecstasy. In one sense, this is an ecstasy of Arjuna, but it's an interesting ecstasy that is mixed with fear. Yeah, it's mixed with apprehension. At this point, I think it's coming up now. Arjuna is very much concerned because as has been seen, he is manifesting as Vishwarupa, which is time itself, which destroys everything. So he's seeing Krishna, everything being destroyed by Krishna in the form of time. So everything around him he is seeing. So he's becoming concerned that even the battle of Kurukshetra is going to be annihilated. Everything is going to be annihilated. Everything is going to be destroyed. So Arjuna's become a bit unhinged and very much concerned. So now he's going to be he's going to be fall down and praying to Krishna now. You know? So there's this fear, there's ecstasy of realization, but the fear of the power of Krishna. And ultimately it shows us, ultimately the universal form is showing us that we're all controlled by time. Okay, we may not die like rushing to Krishna's mouths with heads smashed between his teeth, but we're going to meet our end, which is controlled by Krishna. Yeah. So we're going to have our own universal devastation in the form of our body. Yeah? And he is in control of it. He is in control of time. So let's see now. Arjuna is going to be paying obeisances next.
I'm just seeing the truth in this material world. I came down because my mom's neighbor, she went to America for a break and she had a massive stroke, and now she's on the ITU on the life support machine. So now the whole family's like gone up there and
in America.
like this, yeah, deciding whether to switch off or switch on. Yesterday we did a video call, and when my mom was talking, she opened her eyes and moved her neck a bit. But don't know what it's going to be if they leave her on there now. So that still the family's deciding. So that, I mean, that's the reason why I came down. But anyway, this shows this material world is so cruel. You go for a holiday, you don't know what's going to happen to you. You know, and we have to really be serious to get out.
Yeah, I'm sure we've all heard these. I'm sure when we're not unfamiliar with what you're describing, it's so familiar. Yeah, death, something described in the Mahabharata, that death is, it snatches one away. It snatches you away even in the midst of your plans. It will snatch you away. I'm making so many plans to do this and do that, and then in the Krishna, in the form of time, can take everything away. Yeah. So good, we're doing a good thing. We're spending our time as much as possible hearing and chanting about Krishna. But yeah, life is flickering, so any moment. Who's to know when we're going to leave this world? Some of us will make it into old age. Some of us won't. Some of us won't make it to old bones. Some of us will, you know? Yeah, I think I might have said before, I remember one time in school, our history teacher, he was quite a authoritarian person, you know? Everyone was scared of him. It was one of the teachers we were scared of. Most of the others, we we weren't. We used to give the teachers hell. But this one, you couldn't say anything in his class because he'd come up and he'd bang his knuckles on your head, and he was so authoritarian. Everyone was scared to do anything.
I'm surprised, but now you can't hit the children or
No,
even
no,
tell them off.
now you
Could
can't.
you?
No.
At your time, it was allowed?
Yeah, I got caned in school. Yeah, but I didn't dare tell my mother because she would throw a fit and go to the school and complain and everything. So I thought, oh, it's not going to tell her; it'd be too much. But anyway, this teacher, he was quite his voice was very powerful as well. He was a good orator, good speaker. He's actually president, and he said, some of you will die before you reach 30. Some of you will be in mental institutions. Some of you will be in prison. And maybe one of you will make your way in life successfully. He said, we never heard anything like this from our teachers. It was like,
And that's you, Murli Prabhu.
But then
From the whole class, that's you. The rest, they got rich, but only few found Krishna.
I don't know what happened to them, but just that point, it was good actually, because we were in a little own world, as teenagers, but he kind of brought us down to earth in this class, Wow, life is serious, it was good for us to hear. But as Arjuna is seeing, it's a serious business, this universal form, as Mother Chandravali is reminding us as well. Death is very near. So, did I stop sharing the screen? Is it still sharing?
Yes.
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 Still sharing, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, that was me. So I did something here. Okay. Okay, so what verse was that we just read? Our obeisance to you. Did you read the purple? No.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you read the purple.
I can read it again if you want.
Did you read the purple to 40 to 40?
We did text 39.
Okay, so let someone read text 40. I got
Yeah.
carried away explaining text 40. We haven't read it yet. Okay, I jump in.
Yes, I'm reading.
Go ahead, Magalabanga. Go ahead, please.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nama Parista Data Prista Dataste Namostute Sarvata Eva Sarva Ananta Viryamita Vikramastvam Sarvansam Apnosi Tatosi Sarva. Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides, O unbounded power. You are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Purport. Srila Prabhupada. Out of loving ecstasy for Krishna, his friend Arjuna is offering his respects from all sides. He is accepting that he is the master of all potencies and all prowess, and far superior to all the great warriors assembled on the battlefield. It is said in the Vishnu Purana 1969, Yoyam tavagato deva samipam devatagana satrameva jagatsrasta yata sarvagato bhavan. Whoever comes before you, even if he be a demigod, is created by you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. Okay. So Duryodhan, etc., and everyone can see Arjuna here. He is now circumambulating Krishna, and he is paying his obeisances that is described here. Obeisances to from the front, from behind, and from all sides. This is how Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur describes it. He's actually circumambulating Krishna. Yeah. And a loving ecstasy. He's offering his respects from all sides. Yeah. I'm just going to read something here. This is from Chaitanya Charan. There's one book he had, one of his Gita study series, and I was reading it just before. I thought it'd be good to share. He says many wonderful things he brings out about the 11th chapter. But just this point here about Arjuna's being overwhelmed by the universal form and then becoming quite concerned, In other words, it's too much. So he's praying. So to better understand what causes Arjuna's emotional turbulence, consider a metaphor. Suppose we are watching a science fiction movie in our home with some acquaintances. In the movie, a gigantic being suddenly appears and spreads across the entire screen. While we are watching, that being starts emanating fire from its mouth and scorching everything around it. Then it starts drawing things nearby into its fiery mouth. Now, as we are watching, that being suddenly appears in the very place we are. So it comes out, very place we are, and it starts devouring the people around us. Our acquaintances watching the movie. Now they're all being devoured by this monstrous being. Shocked, we try to stop the movie, but the remote doesn't work. We will be terrified, even perturbed. So this is Arjuna, what he's going through. He's trying to press the stop button. He's trying to pause it. It's too much for him. And he goes on. Arjuna's perceptions and emotions are similar. What he sees initially as a majestic universal form starts devouring the warriors assembled on the very Kurukshetra battlefield where he is. This is Krishna's cosmically destructive form of time, Kalarupa. That Kalarupa perturbs a valiant warrior of Arjuna's caliber, underscores its unbearable scariness. This vision reveals the all-round nature of God's omnipotence. No one can inspire devotion like him in a form as Krishna, and no one can induce fear like him in a form as time. Okay? So very nice. That's what Arjuna is. Now this is why he is praying. Yeah. And there's some nice prayers are coming now. So someone like to read these two verses here. Is that right? Two verses, 41 and 42. Let me have a look. It's just purple. Okay, I could read these two. Sikheti madhva pashabam yaduktam he Krishna he Yadava he Shakheti agnatam he manam te vedam maya parmatat panayena vapi yashchavaha shatam ashatkitoshi viharashayashana bhojaneshu ekotavapi achyuta tatsamakshkansam takshamayi tvam aham aprameyam. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone, sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. Purple. Although Krishna is manifested before Arjuna in his universal form, Arjuna remembers his friendly relationship with Krishna and is therefore asking pardon and requesting Krishna to excuse him. I was going to say to execute him, but no, to excuse him for the many informal gestures which arise out of friendship. He is admitting that formerly he did not know that Krishna could assume such a universal form. Although Krishna explained it as his intimate friend, Arjuna did not know how many times he may have dishonored Krishna by addressing him, "O my friend," "O Krishna," "O Yadava," etc., without acknowledging his opulence. But Krishna is so kind and merciful that in spite of such opulence, he played with Arjuna as a friend. Such is the transcendental loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. The relationship between the living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten, as we can see from the behavior of Arjuna. Although Arjuna has seen the opulence in the universal form, he cannot forget his friendly relationship with Krishna. All right, so this is quite familiar. I think we've commented on this to some degree before. So here he's saying, "Oh Krishna, I have addressed you, oh Krishna." So what's the problem with that? Well, it should be Sri Krishna.
Or even the tone and probably how he has, when you have God, you have a different tone. And if he's your friend, you have a different tone of
Yeah. So you can imagine his relationship is Sakiras, although it has some degree of awe and reverence, but still it's Sakiras. So as it said here, so Arjuna would relax. We would be relaxing with Krishna. And sometimes he would cut jokes at Krishna's sake. Like Yadava, they are lesser in one degree than the Kauravas, because the Kauravas are rulers of the earth, and the Yadavas are not at this point. Yeah. So Krishna's calling, Arjuna's calling Krishna, "Oh Yadava," means, "Oh, you don't come from a family like I do, oh Yadava." So, but as we know, Krishna very much likes this. And as we understand, he actually prefers this. Rather, he prefers being addressed by his friends in such a way, even than he does the reverential verses of the Vedas. Yeah. But still, Arjuna is feeling he has done wrong. Yeah. Seeing the universal form. So he's asking for forgiveness. So sometimes alone, sometimes in front of many friends who be very, very familiar with Krishna. Yeah. So he's asking for forgiveness of all those offenses. Of course, Krishna didn't take it as an offense, but still Arjuna is begging for forgiveness. Yeah. Any other questions or comments here? Yeah, this is sorry. That someone's voice came and went.
It was your echo.
Huh?
It was your echo.
Echo. Okay. Yeah, so such is the transcendental loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. The relationship between the living entity and Krishna is eternally fixed. It cannot be forgotten. As we can see from the behavior of Arjuna. Well, we've forgotten. Yeah. It's eternally fixed. We have an eternal dependence upon Krishna. Yeah. That relationship in the mood of servant is eternally there with Krishna. So Arjuna's can't forget that. He's loving reciprocation with Krishna. Yeah. Interesting. It cannot be forgotten. I think Prabhupada could say more to say means it cannot be taken away. It cannot be extinguished. So despite what states we get into, despite what deplorable conditions that we find ourselves, Krishna is always our well-wisher and our friend. Yeah. no matter to what degree that we may turn away from him, to what degree we may even ridicule him or neglect him, then Krishna is always there he's always there within the heart as a friend and well-wisher. Yeah. So I think this is what more the context, what Prabhupada means here. Yeah. He cannot be forgotten. Yeah. It's like I mentioned this, I think I've mentioned this before, but just as we have, as we go through in life, and we have different experiences in life, some of them can be quite challenging and quite difficult. But there's an inner conversation that we have about that situation that we went through or are going through. There's a conversation that we don't even, that conversation that we might not even share with anyone else. I mean, we might do, but we might not. What we're actually going through personally. And we have like, there's a dialogue that you in your life are familiar with. You are familiar with your whole life. You know, the incidents you went through at school, the incidences after school or marriage or marriages, all the different trials, and that dialogue is with Krishna. That's with your friend Krishna, who's in the heart as a well-wisher, you know. And also, despite being in the most difficult, trying situations, then there's a voice of hope. There's a voice, there's a light. I could say there's a voice of hope and there's a voice of light. But sometimes that can become obscured as well. But if one is a little bit pious, a little bit got some goodness within the heart, they're going to see this light and they're going to go to it. Am I making sense here? And that's Krishna. That's Krishna within the heart, who's trying to give us good. Of course, we don't always hear. That's the problem. We become enamored by the modes of material nature. We become enamored by the objects of the senses. And so even in a great suffering condition, then we may not look towards the light. Yeah, that's when one forced to take birth again and again in the material world. And it's described as that in the even within the womb, isn't it? Described in the third canto, Lord Kapila, that the child within the womb in that very difficult, deplorable situation prays to Krishna. I think it said that the fortunate person prays to Krishna in that very difficult, confusing situation, being in the womb. And he promises to give their life to Krishna, but as soon as they're born, they become in the bodily concept and forget these things. I mean, one day I will share it, and I've mentioned it before. There's this powerful video that gives that graphically shows the child within the womb and the prayers that he makes to Krishna, and then being born, all from the third canto. Yeah. So anyway, this Krishna never forgets us. Perhaps we can say Krishna never forgets us, isn't it?
Yeah.
We forget Krishna.
We forget Krishna.
Yeah, we forget Krishna, but Krishna is always there. Always has been there and always will be there. You can't divorce Krishna. Sorry. He's always there. All right. Any other points from this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
I was just thinking, Prabhu, even to hear the voice of the Lord, whether you're a devotee or whoever, we should have certain mercy and piety to understand, yes, this is it, this I have to follow, isn't it? Because I'm very positive. Every Lord is speaking to everybody in every situation, but to understand, and I have to follow this. So you need how Lord is going to make sure that person really hear me. He is in trouble, but I'm saying, but she's not hearing. So this also we have to work for it in some life, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yeah, I mean the reality is that generally persons are not going to be so enamored by their own desires for gratification in this world that they cannot hear. Just like Duryodhana, excuse me, then he could not hear. Everyone was telling him, give it up. Everyone was trying to correct him. Vidura, Niti was trying to correct him, but he was so stubborn. So even Krishna revealed his universal form to Duryodhana. Still, he's so stubborn. He didn't get the message. Krishna was showing, this is what you're dealing with, but he couldn't get the message. So therefore, one has to be dealt with by the external energy in the cycle of birth and death again and again. So yeah, and so but for those, yeah.
I think it was shame for Ravan as well, isn't it? His brother was telling his wife, Mandodari was telling, everybody was telling him.
Yeah.
Give up Sita, but just wouldn't. I was just wondering on reflection, Prabhu, I mean, very valid question she asked,
Yeah.
I was wondering if our chanting sometimes helps, the fact that we are getting used to listen to the holy name, the chanting by ourselves. So I think one of the biggest problem, at least I can say, is listening. So the once we start this exercise when you're chanting to actually listen the holy name, we are inculcating listening. And at some point, I mean, initially the mind is crazy, but at some point the mind does give up. And I think at that point, then you can be sure that it's coming from Krishna. And I think it's getting that practice again and again to where the mind completely dissipates. We're learning to listen, deeply listen. And then we're able to understand. I think chanting, it's all coming back to chanting. And that's why I suppose chanting is the key so that we can listen to that.
Yeah, very good. So Jetu Darpanam Marjanam. So cleansing the heart, cleansing the mirror of the heart, so we can actually it's quite an advanced level in one sense to take direction from Krishna from within. That's why we have the medium or the representative of Krishna, which is a spiritual master, in order to give us direction. But that's a whole lifestyle as a devotee.
But then, Prabhu, for something like simple things like, should I do this or that? You cannot ask the spiritual master when it's like major thing or some philosophical thing that you can't understand in the scriptures. Perhaps you can. But in your day-to-day life, you're always making decisions all the time. Krishna, do I go left or go right? If something like that while you're driving or, where do I find parking, Krishna? It's simple as that. And then these simple things. We are meant to talk to Krishna all the time, aren't we? Ask him.
One sense we are. Krishna's there within our heart and he's sitting right next to us. And as we know from chapter 15, text 15, he's given us all knowledge. Now, that's why I was going to say that our particular lifestyle, which is the lifestyle of devotee is one of sattva. So the more we're strongly situated in sattva, the more strongly situated in regulative principles and in following Krishna's shiksha, then we're going to automatically, even unknowing to us, we're going to be following Krishna's instructions from within the heart. If we're in a mode of goodness, it will be a natural thing that we do. How we move in this world, how we reciprocate, how we speak to people, If it's sattva, then we're not going to get entangled, because subtly we're being directed by Krishna.
True.
You know?
So the key is from Rajas we come to Tamas, then come to Sattva. After Sattva is transcendence. So the key is at least, yeah, so at least we come to Sattva, and the regulative principles is getting us to the point of Sattva. But we have to even bypass Sattva and go into transcendence.
Yeah.
And as you said, Sattva helps you in your, steering around the world, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Even if you're from a material perspective, even if you're not a sadhaka or a transcendentalist, if you live by principles of sattva,
you can still,
you will be happy.
True.
Yeah, you'll be happy.
And when you transcendence, then there is no difference. You don't have to ask Krishna. You're directly acting on Krishna's will. You're connecting to the source all the time. So then there is no in between. Your presence itself is connected to the divine. So everything is divine.
Then you're empowered. Just like Srila Prabhupada, everything he said to devotees, even the smallest of things in the most kind of informal settings, was empowered by Krishna, and had great lessons for and great teaching for anyone who heard or saw him. So he was a pure via medium, directly for Krishna. So
it's like your antenna is directly connected to the main source,
Yeah.
It's like you don't need a Wi-Fi password, nothing. It's just directly.
Yeah, so Prabhupada, for instance, like he's given instruction and he's giving direction. I mean, it's coming from Krishna, but Prabhupada is not. It's not as if Prabhupada is hearing a disembodied voice in his head, tell him this, tell him that.
Yeah.
No, it's just natural. It's just flowing through, because there's no other. Because Prabhupada's heart is so pure, or the pure devotee is so pure, that what they say and how they say it and the mood they say it and the way they encourage just for one word, it's directly empowered by Krishna. That's why I often watch these memories of Prabhupada. It's very inspiring, and hearing devotees speak about Prabhupada, and sometimes Prabhupada may just say 2 or 3 words to them, and that keeps them going for the whole life.
Yeah.
They reflect on this one small exchange with Prabhupada, but that was an absolute powerful exchange, and I remember for the whole life. So that's how Prabhupada, was so empowered, because he was, and also, he was directly acting under Krishna's direction, under the internal potency, and it can become. Sometimes devotees can experience this, especially when anytime you can experience it, but devotees generally might experience it, for example, on the book distribution, where you feel you're saying words that you never knew you knew, and you're saying it in such a way that everything seems to magically fall in place.
Yeah, and sometimes in classes as well.
Classes is the same.
Just like after you finish, like, I would never say that.
Yeah, sometimes, because you give, all devotees who give classes or things like that, sometimes you are reflecting on what you said as if you are listening to a class.
Yeah.
But for us, we have to be very careful, because we can quickly become proud.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful when we always give due to.
I think that's why this Mangala Charan and asking for Prabhupada's blessing and saying that you being an instrument, and that is so important. Otherwise, I think you are saying it. And
there's a purport where Prabhupada says exactly that. I got it somewhere. I saved it, where Prabhupada is saying, before a devotee eats, before they speak, before they do anything, they ask, they're praying to Krishna. Yeah. Yeah, so just on that point as well, Suddha Sattva, it's going to manifest externally as sattva. Yeah. It's not as if when a devotee is in Suddha sattva, they start floating.
So what would be the difference between sattva and Shuddha sattva?
That it's not contaminated at all by the other modes. Goodness, you may be in goodness, but then you may become circumstantially overcome with passion. And it can happen very quickly. Sometimes the devotee may be thinking they're quite, doing quite well, and they're chanting nice rounds and they're doing a service. Then someone says something to them that just gets them, and they get all passionate, which means they're not strongly situated in. It wasn't so strongly situated in Suddha, in sattva. Then the devotee's thinking, "What the hell happened there?" So yeah, we have a tendencies, but Suddha sattva visheshatma. There's a prayer by Lord Shiva, Suddha sattva visheshatma, that he's always meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna, because he's in Suddha sattva. Yeah. So Suddha sattva means you're free from the influence of the modes of material nature. But goodness, one is susceptible to be.
Suddha sattva is transcendence then.
Yeah. That's when all bondage is cut, when one's karma is cut, and one is situated at a level of one's touched by a ray of prema, which is bhava. Yeah, so one is Suddha sattva, and that's when everything. Yeah, that's when everything. That's when a devotee's mind can be completely absorbed in their object of worship in a very deep way. There is no contamination.
No separation, I would think. No separation. You don't have to endeavor. It's just a natural process. Yeah,
that's the atmosphere of the spiritual realm that manifests within the being and the heart of a devotee. Just like here, the atmosphere, you go into a supermarket, there's a certain atmosphere. So, and every place has its, mood, but the spiritual world, the atmosphere and the mood is a Suddha sattva.
But then, Murli Prabhu, if one is in this state of Shuddha sattva, then it doesn't matter whether you're in, to be in the spiritual world or you want to go there, you want to go here. It really doesn't matter which planet or which environment. You are in Shuddha sattva, you are connected. So then we don't even ask for anything or aspire to get out of this material world.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Wherever Krishna wishes to place me in his loving service. Yeah.
No, not even that, because you are in Shuddha sattva. You are connected to the divine. You are serving. So for that person at that moment is the spiritual world, isn't it?
Yeah. Although the opportunities for service may attract a devotee to the spiritual realm. Yeah, the opportunities for service to the divine couple in their original spiritual body will be very attractive to a devotee. So they pray not to. In one sense, devotees are praying to go. They're not praying to go to the spiritual world, like going to a place. They're praying for divine service, which happens to be complete and perfect in the spiritual world. So that's why they're praying to enter this. They may be praying to be with Krishna, not because it's a cushy place and the weather's nice and etc., but because they can serve in an unimpeded and in a wonderful way. They can serve Krishna. So they pray, may I be offered betel nuts to the divine couple, may I fan them, may I massage the feet, may I be, whatever one's specific relationship is with the Lord.
I remember Kadamakanna Maharaj, this was during his last days. I just had a chat conversation, and then he looked at me and he said, your spiritual master is with Srila Prabhupada. And then as he was talking, he said, I'm coming back to preach.
Yeah, that's his mood, yeah?
Yeah.
Whether Krishna agree with that, that's up to Krishna.
That's a different thing, yeah.
Krishna might think, no, you stay here. Oh. All right. Let's pause there then, and let's pick up tomorrow with text 43. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Thank you, devotees, for joining us. Time went very quick. So please join us tomorrow, and we'll continue the 11th chapter. We got how many verses in this chapter? Let's just quick scroll forward. Good few, yeah. We have, I think it's 55. Yeah, 50, 50. Oh, that's a long 55 of a long last purple. Okay, thank you, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhu Murli Manohar.
Thank you, Hari Bol.